So,
right.
so you kind of said like now your role is you're still doing radio, which you can kind of do on your time because things can be recorded
Right,
and used
right.
later. You're homeschooling.
I am.
And then you keep your grandchild a lot,
I,
right?
I
Or
do.
you help
I
a
spend a lot
lot.
of time with her. Yeah, we help a lot. But I also have a full-time job that's not even related to radio, so I work that
Oh
at
my
home.
word.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm in it's telecom. It's so part of my job is using my voice. But it's a large compliance company that we have call centers all
Yeah.
over the world, and we support the call centers. So my very small part of this company is I handle a lot of the foreign languages, and then I do the voices, the English voice for these
Wow.
lines. I'm still using my voice,
Yeah.
but it is a full-time job, and I'm
That's
in
so
fact the whole
cool.
company is pretty much at home now
Yeah.
because of, like you said, what happened in 2020 and
Yeah.
everybody was sent home, and we all, I mean, we're talking about thousands of employees
Wow.
who are now at home working.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. And it's so funny because you like list out all these things that you're still
Yeah.
doing and I'm like, when do you sleep? That's the question people ask me all the time is like, when do you
Right,
sleep?
right.
But I think that women are just kind of wired like that.
Yeah.
In fact, like one of our very first episodes was about the roles that we play.
Yeah.
And as women, it just seems like we do so much. Because even beside that, you also have a big role in like the church, the local church, and you were just
Yeah.
talking about worship and the new church
Yeah.
plant that you guys have, and tell us a little bit more about that. Like your family is musically inclined,
Yeah,
you
they're
know.
all talented musically. My son is he's almost 16 in a few weeks. He plays drums. He's a very good drummer. He's taught himself to play guitar,
Wow.
other things like that. My middle daughter, she's actually a missionary. She is in Central Asia right now, very sensitive part of the world, and she's there
Yeah.
until she's been there since January, and so she'll be there until December. And she comes home so happy. I miss her. But yeah, so she's very musical. Taught herself to play lots of instruments, especially the keyboard. My oldest daughter is the mother of Dove. She's a wife. She and her husband do the children's ministry at the new church campus, and she's a dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I was thinking the other day about when they were younger.
Yeah.
And you and your sisters would dance, and we would come up and visit, and they would dance with you.
Yeah, and we taught them the Revelation song
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
And
Rebecca just taught that to her kids at church.
that's so
I mean, a
cool.
variation of that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so neat. So your whole family is like not only musically inclined, but like ministry inclined.
Yeah, they love serving.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And honestly, I mean, I think that even more so than like seeing you on radio or hearing you on radio all those years ago, one thing that I so admire about you is your children, and like how you've raised them to walk out their faith and that they do have hearts to serve, not just people, but to serve God.
Yeah.
They really do have hearts for Jesus. So it's really kind of beautiful to watch.
Yeah, they're that was one thing that we tried to do with them more than anything was just give them opportunities to serve.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to any mom is, find a church where your kids can serve. I mean, it's
Yeah.
important that we, of course, serve, but they grow up learning that the church belongs to them.
Yeah.
They don't have to wait until they're 18 voting members of this church to, help usher
Yeah.
or serve on the worship team or whatever. And, that's what I would say. Find a church where your kids are allowed to serve. And if they're not allowed to serve at your church, you might want to think about finding one, because people ask me, how do you keep your kids, engaged during those years where they, especially right out of high school, let them serve, let them grow up
Yeah.
being a part of the body of Christ and being used in ministry.
Yeah, it gives them a sense of purpose
Yeah.
and of belonging, and it
Right.
connects them to the family. We have a couple of house churches, and that's been like a theme that we've talked about lately. Is just that God has put gifts and abilities in each of us.
Yeah.
And in America, the church here is kind of like, I don't know, we've done a disservice to people by allowing people to just come and be consumers.
Yeah.
And so when we make it where, there's one man who hears from God
serves,
and when everybody's not playing their part, then it's no wonder that we just kind of like flip Christians around and we're like, I'll go over here for a little while, go here a little while. Well, it's because we're not really connected to the body and functioning as the part of the body that we were created for. And the church really suffers, because you have something to offer that I don't,
Right.
and if you're not walking in your gifts and in your abilities, then we're all kind of suffering for it. So
And at the very least, we have experiences. That like I have experiences that you don't, and you have experiences that I don't, and we work together, to solve a new problem or a new issue because of our joined experiences. And kids are no different. They need to learn to work those things out that come up in the church or in their walk with the Lord, and walk it out with adults, because adults have gone through things, and so they're following in the footsteps of the adults that they see. And if we don't model it for them and allow them to walk through that, then at some point they turn 18 and we just throw them out there. So
then we wonder why they kind of like fall away. As they're
yeah.
like going off to college and kind of finding their own path. It's we never really gave them a solid path
It's
to follow.
them working out their own salvation. It really is. It's them learning to cultivate their own relationship with Jesus. I'll never forget a time I asked my girls, I picked them up from school. They were like in middle school, like 11, 12. And we're riding in the car, and I said, girls, what would you do if Dad and I stopped serving God? If we just one day decided we're not going to go to church, what would you do? And they thought about it, and they're like, well, I guess we would keep going, because they need to develop their own relationship with Jesus and learn to serve him in their own way, and not just do it because Mom and Dad do it.
Right, yeah.
And, that's something we don't think about. We think they're going because we make them go, but at some point it crosses over.
And we're not there to make them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's their choice.
Yeah.
I'm like over here, I wish I had a notepad to like furiously take notes, because our oldest is 13. So our kids are younger, but I know that we'll approach that really quickly, where it's like, this has to become their relationship, and you can't just kind of piggyback on what Mom and Dad have done.
Right.
Which is easy for kids to do, because so often we're focused on our own walk and what we're doing, and we're just kind of letting our kids trail behind. But at some point we have to start thinking, okay, what is this going to look like when I'm no longer there to say you have to go to church unless you're throwing up or have a fever?
Right.
Like what about when it becomes their choice?
Yeah.